Now let's look at an example of a table. So here we can see a table that covers numbers 21 through 25. So this is section 3, and this is the first half of the listening. So we're going to hear a dialogue between two speakers. And if you notice here, the first thing to notice is, yes, 3 words, no more than 3 words for each answer. So make sure that you notice that at the beginning. And then we're going to follow our pre-listening preparation steps. So the first thing is to notice the key words. Now with a table, this should be significantly easier. We're hearing obedience, spoken commands, guard training, attack training, and search training. And notice these are all forms of dog training. So a table makes our keyword noticing quite simple, a lot easier than sentence listening. Also, these words here, patrolling, knocking someone down, will also help us. If we start hearing about patrolling, we know that the next answer will be number 23. So those words can help us keep up with the listening so that we don't miss anything. Now, the next step is to predict what types of words we're going to hear here. Right, what words we're going to hear for the answers. So actually, this is interesting because the example gives us sit, but all of the other ones here give us an ing verb. All right, so we have sort of 2 options that we might hear for each of these 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. We might hear ing verbs like patrolling or knocking. We might also hear just command verbs like sit or walk or go. All right. If you have a little time before the listening starts, you can look at the examples here, sit, patrolling, knocking someone down. These are all examples of behaviors that professional dogs do. So you can, in your mind, sort of predict what kinds of, you can maybe imagine what the answers might be. Like number 21, obedience training, maybe sit, stay, speak, come, eat, probably not eat, but any other kinds of simple command verbs. Okay, spoken commands. Spoken commands might be more activities that they would do, like fetch. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that word, but fetch, or maybe speak, something like that. Hard to know. Guard training, patrolling. Trying to think of other things that guard dogs would do. Attacking, maybe? No, this is attack training. So just guard training, patrolling, signaling, maybe watching. Maybe they have to make some kind of noise to alert if there is some sort of danger, like barking could be one. Attack training, knocking someone down, defending someone, biting someone. It's hard to know. Attack training, biting maybe. That seems reasonable. And search training, finding, smelling, noticing. Hard to guess exactly. But we know that they're going to be verbs, either with ing or just simply the base form of the verb, like a command. Now, let's go ahead and listen to the passage and see if you can answer all the questions correctly.
So that research paper we have to do next, the one about how are different styles of training dogs, how do you think you'll approach writing it?
You know, I've been thinking about it. I feel that the best way to write it is to divide the paper into 2 main parts. In the first part, we'd be analysing some examples of each style of training dogs.
Right, what the styles are. After that, we can talk about how each style can be used so that the dogs learn something different from each one.
Indeed. Maybe we could draw a chart and compare examples of each style of training, one at a time. So the different kinds of training would be simple obedience training.
There you would have things like teaching them to sit, stay in one place, and so on.
Right. So included in here would be simple audio commands like speak.
Yes, basic commands are just spoken words, aren't they? And then there would be the more guard-oriented training, where the dogs are trained to know a specific place well. Patrolling and barking are probably the best examples, because most people have seen them in many places, especially in homes.
And this would lead us to the attack dog training, which is physical as well as spoken, training the dog to knock someone down, and even biting if they have to.
Right, so there's another category as well, sniffing dogs, which make up the searching category. I've read that in the UK, every major airport and government building has these dogs to search for all kinds of dangerous items.
Now let's go ahead and look at numbers 21 and 22 based on the script that we just heard, or based on the listening that we just heard. So number 21, we heard sit, and okay, it comes here toward the end of this introduction. There you would have things like teaching them to sit. Actually, right before that we heard, I'm just going to mark with my pen here, we were listening for obedience training. And we want to listen for when that first mention of obedience training comes in the script. Simple obedience training right here. So that's your signal to start listening for the answer. Then we've got the word sit and stay. Now, remember that it's 3 or less, okay? So no more than 3 words. So stay in one place will not work as the answer. So you have to be a little bit careful there. Stay in one place, that's 4 words. That would not be correct. Stay is going to be the answer. So that's our answer for number 21. And then for number 22, we're listening for spoken commands. And here we see audio commands. And as we could maybe predict, the answer here is speak. Again, we have a not an ing verb, just regular base form verbs for this, stay and speak. All right. So this is a good example of when we're listening at the beginning of the passage, we have to be careful to, during this introduction, we're listening for our first keyword, and that first keyword is, again, obedience training. So as soon as we hear that, then we are ready to listen for the answer for number 21. And now let's look at numbers 23, 24, and 25. So again, we've got guard training, attack training, search training, patrolling, and knocking someone down. So here we've got guard-oriented training. Okay, so that should be your cue to listen. And we're listening for patrolling and barking. Barking is our answer for number 23. Listening for that ing verb, right? Now, getting into number 24, we should listen for attack training. We have that right here, attack dog training. And we're listening for knocking and training the dog to knock someone down. And the answer here, and even biting. So biting is our answer for number 24. Number 25, we want to listen for search training. So searching category. Okay, this might be a little confusing because we heard this word sniffing dogs, but right after that, which make up the searching category. And again, we're listening for an ing verb. This one's a little bit harder because we don't have that second keyword like we do in number 23 and 24. So I've read that in the UK, every major airport and government building has these dogs to search for all kinds of dangerous items. So our answer here is going to be very simply search. Going into number 25, we see that this one's going to be a little bit more difficult. We don't have that second keyword. We just have the one keyword to listen for, which is search training. And we see searching here. But you may be a little confused because after this, there is no ing verb that's really given. We have search for all kinds of dangerous items, but search as the answer is quite strange. So in fact, this one was very tricky. The answer to this question comes before our keyword of search training. The answer is sniffing. Okay, sniffing. They will also accept sniffing dogs if you include both, but the best answer is sniffing. Little bit tricky one. Yeah, not very easy. So if you had trouble getting that answer correct, I do not blame you. Those kind of answers are quite rare, or that level of difficulty is quite rare on the IELTS, but it's good to be prepared for that kind of difficulty.